So the final thing we're going to achieve, so say we've finished our project. So that's fantastic. We've completed our media project. So we've either, built a trailer or we've built a corporate video or basically whatever your teacher has instructed. Now, what you need to do is export your project, and often the project will tell you to export in a certain file format. Most of the time, this will be a .mp4 file. So what we want to do first is make sure everything in our sequence, in our timeline, is saved and rendered. So you can tell if something is rendered by this line that runs just along the bottom here of the timeline. So mine is not rendered because it's yellow. If it's yellow or it's red, it's not rendered and needs rendering. We need this line to look completely green. So the easiest way to do that is go to Sequence, Render In to Out. And you'll just have to wait for this loading bar to process, basically. And it shouldn't take too long. Most projects you'll be doing won't be any more than 2 minutes, so this process should take a small amount of time. Notice how the bar is turning to green as it works through all the pieces of footage, some of the motion graphics, and this will just make the edit incredibly easy for it to process in the post media world. Basically, what it's doing is it is making sure all of those sound effects, video transitions, audio effects, everything you've added in there has been processed by the computer. So now it's finished. We can clearly see that. What we're going to do is we're going to go up File, Export, Media. And the hotkey for this is Control M, but just make sure your screen looks like my screen. Click away, and it will take you to this export screen. Now, this is really important because this is how we're going to export every media project you ever do. So what you want to do is ensure your year level is there. So year 8, the name of the project, which is horror editing exercise or horror movie trailer. And normally your name would follow, not a number. So whatever your name is. Now, the second thing you want to do is make sure you're sending it to a location that you can access and submit your work from. So we're going to send it to the project folder we created at the start of this, which is just inside here in our horror sequence project. For most of your projects, anything in the lower school or any sort of earlier novice levels, just to ensure it's matching source at an adaptive high bit rate. There's no need to do all of these other presets. In addition, you want to make sure the format says H.264. That's correct. That will mean it will export as an MP4. All these additional things you don't even have to notice. None of it really matters. Now, what's important is that your scaling says scale to fit. So mine already does. And it's going to ask for a range. So your entire project, this is where you need to be careful with what's in your timeline. Because if my video was only up to there, I still have an additional 16 seconds for the second piece of footage that I was editing. But I don't want to use that. So what's really important is I go work area. So I'm going to select the work area. So where my trailer ends, which is just around there. So I'm going to drag that so it's in line. So that's actually what my project is. When you finish that, hopefully you won't have to do that, but just in case you do have to do that, that's how you do it. We're going to click export. And sure enough, after that 30 or so seconds, the project will export and I will be able to play it outside of this project, which we'll just get at the ready while we're waiting. So I can see it, there it is, it's exporting away. Wonderful. And sure enough, I'll be able to play that file. There it is, all finished. That is how you export your project out of Adobe Premiere Pro.